I always say, I'm not in the travel business, I'm in the dream business. People have dreams, and really it is a huge responsibility. It's nothing to do with the money or what they pay. It's to make that dream come true. Remember, every other business, whether you're selling Mercedes car, Manolo Blahnik shoes, Cartier jewelry, if you don't like it, you send it back. They've dreamt about one of our trips their whole life, and you can never send it back. You ruin their dream. So I sort of live with this all the time, and so really I live every day making sure every aspect of our business is perfect and that every dream comes true. You know, people ask me why we decided to launch the Abercrombie & Kent Residence Club. I think I wanted to have a product which was really for families, really for families, and very secure and very safe, and actually mainly in the first world, right? As opposed to, you know, to tell somebody, Eric, take your 8-year-old kid and we'll go and track gorillas today, right? They may get a bit scared about that. So actually, with our residences, kind of like a breaking ground into Abercrombie & Kent. We have these lovely villas, you know, in the United States and in Europe, and so you can go with your family. And actually, we're going to use them as a base. Unlike other residence clubs, ours is going to be like a base. I'm going to find, don't worry, I'm going to find lots of adventures to do out of these houses. And we'll have insider access. We'll take them into areas where they couldn't get normally. Insider access is a sort of product which we always say is something you can't Google. You know, something that only we can provide. For instance, in Australia, we take the kids to the Sydney Zoo and we watch the animals being fed, and then we take the kids behind the scenes and actually feed the animals and meet with the zookeeper and touch the animal. You know, that's just a little one, and so on. It's little, not very complicated things, but it's really an involvement in something personally, and it creates an experience that people don't forget. A second home, first of all, they're very, very expensive today. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you go to them really only probably a maximum of 28 days a year. And the third thing is, invariably, the minute you leave, there are problems. So, you know, the roof leaks, the garden is overgrown, the swimming pool cracks in the middle. And so this becomes a nightmare. You've got to take care of this for all the other days of the year. And also, there's no variety. You now feel, because you own this very expensive home in this one destination, you have to go there every year to warrant the cost, instead of having variety. With a destination club, you can go skiing in the winter, you can go to the Caribbean in the winter, so you can play golf, you can play tennis. Your family and kids, they want variety, especially the kids these days. They don't want to go back to the same old place year after year. So there's no question. Also, from a conservation point of view, remember, if you own this single home, it just sits there and is only used 28 days a year, whereas one of our homes is used 300 days a year. So in this days of climate change and awareness of the environment, it's a much more environmentally friendly thing to do. Our competitors are completely focused on real estate because that's all they know. It'd be very hard for them to be focused on travel because they don't know it. We're totally focused on travel because actually, why are people coming to the home? They're not coming for a real estate experience. They're coming for a holiday experience. So that's why we're focusing so clearly on this. You can't do that unless you know how to operate on the ground. I call it the last mile. In Abercrombie & Kent, we have 66 offices all over the world which give that last-minute experience. Ours will be all about having beautiful homes, but it's going to be all about having experiences from their homes, having a lifestyle from their homes. Very different. I'm a travel person. I'm not a real estate person, right? But we're going to have beautiful houses, beautiful experiences from them, and really create a complete travel and lifetime experience from the house, rather than just say, here's your second home, and get on with it. The point is, I've been doing that since 1962. It's in the very DNA of me. It's in the very DNA of Abercrombie & Kent. Their DNA is real estate. Second home, real estate. That's their DNA. Ours is all the experience I've been discussing it. And I think it's very hard to change something that's not natural. This is so natural for me. This is just easy. It's in my DNA. A lot of people, when I start to talk with them about this destination club business, say, this is something different. This is not exactly a destination club as we knew it. This looks as if it's something new. You know, when I first got into it, first of all, we did realize the whole business of having an equity model, which would be debt-free. I thought that was a very important part. But as I got more and more into this, I said, you know, we're getting confused here. This isn't just a second home business, which is what I thought it was when we started. I suddenly realized, no, this is like taking somebody to one of our bases in Africa, except it's in a base in the United States or in Europe. Why have it as a separate product? Let's bring in 46 years of work, 46 years of experience. So now it's not just a second home, it's an experience, it's a holiday. And so it's very different, completely different. And I think really, really, really tantalizing. One of the problems that members have with the Destination Club is the whole business of priority bookings, and something we've really analyzed from the other clubs. And what we wanted to establish was something that was fairer and better, which isn't easy. The other clubs have a first-come, first-served basis, which actually is pretty unfair if you're second-come, because then you get nothing. We studied the whole Destination Club very, in great depth, all right? And I decided that what people really want, if they're nervous about the industry, what they're nervous about is the actual equity of the actual homes themselves. And we decided to set up an equity club, which in effect means that all the homes are debt-free. They have no debt. They are completely transparent. The members can look at all the accounts, and they know that every home they stay in will be that home forever. They're not going to be sold unless the members want to sell it. So it's a much, much better model because they have control of their future. The actual product is the house. If they don't control the house and the house can be sold and moved on or is not debt-free, that's a problem. So that's why we had the equity debt-free model. Our members from Belhavens and Crescendo are pretty excited by this. And I think that as soon as I can meet with them, I really want to get their ideas again. Just that I got all my ideas about our adventures. I want to speak with our members. We call it the Abercrombie Kent Cocoon, in that we provide these, these adventures and experiences from a base. So our houses won't be just the actual final destination. They'll be the base from which we'll do many, many other things. You know, everything depends on a management team, which I've learned to my cost. You know, if you have a ship going up the Amazon and the captain ain't too hot, you have a problem, all right? So we've always selected our management teams really, really carefully. And it's something actually I feel really good at, having been doing this for 46 years. And we're very fortunate. I've worked with the American Express company for years, and there was an incredible executive there called Jarvis Slade, been there 17, 18 years with American Express. And I approached him, and we had long conversations, and he was very painstaking in his research. He looked at and analyzed the equity model. He said it's absolutely the right way to go, and he's our president. Our members will be able to trade their nights for two people for a night on the majority of our program. Everybody always asks me, I have a family, where would be the best Abercrombie Kent destination to go with them? And I think if the children are probably over 8, I still think an African safari. Younger than that, that's more difficult. Actually, a Nile cruise is very, very safe and lovely. You go on the Nile on the ship. I think Europe, of course. You know, that's one of our villas in Europe is very safe and a lot of fun. And that's probably the most popular of all. I think South America is nearer, so they don't have to go a long way. Patagonia. I think Machu Picchu is too much of a climb. The Royal Inca Trail. It depends how old the family is, right? If they're teenagers, send them up the Royal Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. That'll fix them all. So it actually depends, obviously, on the age, but all of our trips are very family focused. I founded Abercrombie in Kent in 1962 with my parents, and actually we founded in Kenya. We'd lost our farm at independence, and so we took our old Land Rover. I still remember the number, actually. It was KBH 482. We took a Land Rover. We made up the name Abercrombie, so we had an old Land Rover. A made-up name, Abercrombie. AB put us top of the yellow pages, so that was very important from a marketing point of view. And had £100, which we put in the bank, and had a big dream and a vision. And that's how it started. My parents actually left in 1966, and I took over as managing director then. A lot of people often ask me how my early upbringing sort of led me to this life of adventure and travel. And of course, you must understand, living on a farm in Kenya, we grew up at 8,000 feet high at a 3,000-acre farm, miles from anywhere. We rode horses to play with our friends, drove a Land Rover at 6. And so, on the holidays, we go on safari. Yeah, at 16, I drove my motorbike from Nairobi to Cape Town, which is the first time anybody had ever driven single-handedly a motorbike all the way to Cape Town. That was pretty hairy. But again, I think that was it. Once I'd done that trip, that was it. Now I'm going to really expose people to adventure and excitement, and I think it was in me just from day one. Never really planned, but I just knew I had to do something like that. I think what I really want to do was do a huge adventure myself, then work out how to take the danger out of it and provide logistics. The British military had trained in logistics. And then I put all the planning in with Land Rovers and planes and airstrips, and I took them myself. You know, as a guide from 1962 to 1972. We go for 30 days without trucks and into the wilderness from, in those days, Tanzania, Uganda. But they liked it because I made it safe and very comfortable and very elegant. I always say, I'm not in the travel business, I'm in the dream business. And so really, I live every day making sure every aspect of our business is perfect and that every dream comes true.